All right, Ruth Ann, today we've got a crap storm for you. One that the trucking industry is going through, kind of like a purging in the industry, a cleaning out, if you will. And I don't mean our bowels. I mean the trucking industry bowels.
I was sitting there, had all these different images going through my mind, like little movie clips going through.
The sphincter of the trucking industry is letting it out.
Yeah.
And guess what it's pooping out?
Ew.
Trucking companies. It's pooping trucking companies everywhere in the big wide world toilet.
Ugh.
It is.
Ugh.
I sure hope the trucking industry's got some toilet paper. Remember when we had the shortage last year? Or no, that was like a couple of years ago, ain't it? Yeah, during the COVID times. But anyways, this is what's happening from the COVID times. It's a purging right now, and the trucking company has a big enema that it took, and it's squirting trucking companies out left and right. And we're going to talk about that. You like my wording?
You're now hitting that over the limit grossness. So let's move on.
My analogy is making Ruth Ann smile with a cringy look.
Yeah, that's.
Did you have something to say?
Let's just move to the next.
Okay.
Tell me more, but not that subject. More of what we're going to be doing. Tell me more what we're going to do.
So, also, you threw me off. I wanted to. So we're also going to be talking about a truck driver who got shot at 13 times and survived.
Wow.
And we're going to be also talking about a couple trucking company owners that, pooped themselves out, and they're headed to the big house to join Bubba.
You're into a lot of poop talk today, I see.
All on today's TalkCDL, plus the word of the day by Word Genius and Miss Ruth Ann. And you're going to mention the truck show coming up. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll get right into it. Are you a trucking company that is needing to hire Class A CDL drivers? Then you've come to the right place. With over 25 years of recruiting truckers, Diesel Jockeys can have qualified drivers scheduled for your next orientation. They work with carriers that need solos, teams, and student drivers looking for local, regional, OTR, company, and lease purchase positions anywhere in the United States. Check them out today at www.dieseljockeys.com. That's www.dieseljockeys.com. All right, so you want to talk about the crap storm?
I knew you were full of it, but
No, I really want to talk about it. I want to talk about the trucking company sphincter, at how it's pooping trucking companies out. But I want to talk about one. And why are you laughing?
I guess I just have a lot of an issue with a bunch of poop stories.
Well,
you're just so full of it.
I'm just telling you, man, it's been one crap storm after another in this industry lately.
I will agree. We've seen our fair share of diapers.
Yeah. I like that too. There are some issues that need a diaper in this industry, but let's get right into this for real.
Alrighty.
Now, so what I want to talk about today is, and I'm going to give everybody some red flags to watch out for.
Okay.
And I'm talking about with your current trucking company, things you should watch out for that could mean, hey, you're about to get screwed out of paychecks, because these trucking companies are brutal. When they're going out of business, you know what they do? They string the driver along. Mm-hmm. They keep the driver's attention, and I'm sorry, it was just a glitch. You know what? I've actually heard this in the last couple of weeks. I've had a couple truck drivers tell me, yeah, I was told that they were just changing banks, or there was a new financial officer took over, and that's why our paychecks didn't come this past week. And these are guys that are 2 and 3 weeks without a paycheck. And of course, they're hanging in there thinking they're going to get paid. And then all of a sudden, the CFO and the CEO and all these, the high ups in the company, they're nowhere to be seen. And truck drivers are sitting with a truck and no money coming in. And now they got, a couple of weeks without pay, and now they got to go find another job. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, the CFO or the CEO or whoever going down the road, probably with money in their pocket.
Of course.
And the trucker is the one getting screwed. So I want to talk about that today. We have a trucking company that, let me see if I can find it right here. And I got this story out of FreightWaves. Go to FreightWaves. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So anyways, Florida-based trucking company. This is what I want to talk about. Florida-based trucking company Flagship Transport. Flagship Transport abruptly ceases operations. 455 drivers.
Oh my gosh.
As I said, it's not just some small little shit company. It's a bigger shit company. There's more shit talk. I'm just telling you, seriously, it's kind of getting me a little upset. You know, it's one thing if you go out of business. Why screw the working man?
They did their work.
455 families. Think about that. And it's like, why? If you're hanging in there, why not be honest with your drivers? Oh, because they'll quit. Well, guess what? You ended up screwing them anyways, and now you destroyed 455 lives.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they go to jail. 455 drivers without jobs after owners failed to pay them for weeks. Seriously. This is how gullible these working men are. I mean, and how many times have we seen that? Where a truck driver, all of a sudden the company doesn't pay him, or they're a couple days behind. Whatever the case. That's flag number one. I'm going to tell you right now, driver, we're going to be talking about flags. Excuse that. The first flag is if your paycheck's a day late. I'm going to tell you that right now. You stop your truck and you say, I need to be paid now, or I'm not delivering this load. I don't care. If a trucking company cannot pay you on the scheduled payday, trucking company got issues right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Don't tell me there's issues with your bank. Don't tell me there's issues with changing CFOs, chief financial officers.
That stuff, a good company with those type of situations already have it to where it's a smooth transition. If they're a good company, changing CFOs or changing banks is not going to make any issue with their daily working.
I've had drivers tell me in the last... Oh, well, actually, I've heard drivers tell me this for years when they're with a really crappy company. Well, a couple times in the last year, I had to wait for them to get money in my bank. You know, it was, a week late on one, like 3 days late on another. And I told them, I said, eventually you're going to get screwed, dude. Mm-hmm. And they usually do. Mm-hmm. So it says some 455 drivers who hauled freight under the banner of Flagship Transport, LLC, a logistics holding company headquartered in Medley, Florida, say they have had no contact with company executives since last week when they received text messages promising their paychecks would be available for pickup at the company's yard on Tuesday, but that never happened. It says owner-operator Antonio Rivera, 37, from DeLand, Florida, over by Daytona. Mm-hmm. He drove for Arel, A-R-E-L, it's part of this company, trucking, ATI of Lakeland, Florida, for nearly 2 years hauling beer, water, and other freight. He delivered his last load on Monday. Now, look, I'm not saying that, well, actually, it's a 455 truck company. You can't really say much here, but there's signs to watch for. Mm-hmm. It says he said most of the truck drivers took their freight to the yard in Medley on Tuesday, while others have not received any communication from dispatchers or company executives about what to do if they are still under loads. Rivera said some drivers are still making their way back to the Miami area.
Wow. Well, there's drivers still driving, and if they shut down, that means that their fuel cards are no good. It means all that stuff is not going to be any good anymore. So drivers can get stranded, like literally stranded on the side of the road.
Well, any drivers that are working for this company, you still have their truck. My advice is take it back. Obviously, you can't do anything else with it. Don't be, rude, but at the same time, don't invest your money. Do not, if you're out of fuel and these guys you can't get a hold of these guys, that's where it ends. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you that right now, because if you go ahead and invest $500 or whatever in fuel to get back,
you don't have your money.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty much out. Here's what else it says. It says, as of publication, Roberto C. Fernandez, Flagship Transport's president and director. Again, his name is Robert C. Fernandez. He's the president and director of Flagship Transport. Had not responded to requests seeking comment on the study. And Freightways is the one that made that request. They could not get this guy to respond on what's going on. Neither did Mario Abad, who is listed as the director of Flagship Transport.
So they hightailed it out of town with probably a nice padded pocket and left the drivers. And, not just the drivers. Think about it. Their office personnel probably also got, in like nothing too. It's probably not just the drivers that are getting the short sticks. More than likely, their office personnel are getting the same treatment.
Oh, yeah. The greedy guy never takes care of anybody but the greedy guy.
Right. They all make sure that they had their thousands of dollars, like that money that would have been someone else's paycheck. They just said, we're just going to put it in our pocket.
And look, we don't know for sure that that's what happened, but I agree with you. That's probably what most likely did happen. Mm-hmm. These guys somehow, they didn't probably go broke, but the company went broke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, more than likely. A lot of really good companies will know that to make things work, you have to take care of the workers first. So a lot of the really good companies, they'll say, okay, the ones that have the control where they don't have to take, they're on salary or something like that, but they'll say, I'm not going to take my salary this week. I want you to be able to pay this, and till they get past the whatever state that they're in as far as needing that other income. Because most of the time, the ones that are on the salary, they have enough money in their bank that they can afford not getting something for a week or two.
Listen, most rich people never give up a penny. I mean,
I said the real good ones.
Yeah, that you should say the real good one, because there might be one, but most rich people, listen, you don't get rich usually without slitting throats and stepping on people's heads. And I'm serious about that.
No, you're correct. There is a lot of those types of people out there.
Yeah, those guys, I mean, again, we don't know these people, but look, here's what makes them a shithead. I mean, there's the word shit again.
It's just so.
But what makes them a crapper, for real, is the fact that they promised these guys the check was going to be there Tuesday, and now they're nowhere to be found. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't care what anybody can testify that these guys are nice guys and they wish them a happy birthday and they pet puppies. Okay, all they want. But if you tell a whole company that you're going to pay them and you've been behind, and then it sounds like they were buying themselves time, like you said, to hightail it out of Dodge and be riding off into the sunset somewhere. So the bottom line is, honestly, truly, to me, it sounds like the take was in and these guys ran down the road with a trunk full of money, jumped on a Cessna, and are headed to another country. I could be wrong. They could be going somewhere.
They could be truly trying to find a way to help out, or they could be hightailed it out. Do you ever see the Popeye, like the cartoon Popeye?
I have.
Do you remember Wimpy?
I remember Wimpy. He wanted to
I'll pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
Right. So you think that Fernandez and Adad, whatever his name was,
they're wimpies.
You think that they were going to pay for the hamburger on Tuesday?
Yeah.
And they left yesterday.
Yeah.
Without paying for the burger.
Right.
I believe you're right. Nice analogy.
Thank you.
Not as good as my poop analogy, but
mine was definitely much cleaner.
Yeah. But it comes down. So anyway, their lawyer, they talked to their lawyer, the company lawyer, and he said, look, I'm not there on an everyday basis. He said, but I did hear rumors that they were having problems the last couple of days. So he hasn't been in touch with them either. And, it is what it is. One of them is quoted as saying, at first we trusted them. We thought it was a transition thing. Switching banks is difficult. It doesn't happen overnight, Rivera told Freightways.
Oh, baloney.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is where these guys, these truckers, truckers are just everyday workers. They're working class Joe. All right? And if you're a guy that, most working guys live paycheck to paycheck. And it is what it is. Some of them save money. But look, the bottom line with it, Ruthann, is this. if you're working class Joe,
Mm-hmm.
you somehow believe people.
Well, you want to believe. You don't want to think everybody's out there to get you, especially at the company that you're working for.
Well, think about this. Okay, you just drove 4,000 miles for the week, right?
Right.
Your check's not there. And they real politely put out a, whatever they use, Qualcomm or whatever communication to everybody.
You said text for this one. Yeah, everybody got text.
Texting, right. And another one, anyways, so they go and they do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you got? You got no paycheck, and you're thinking, well, I need this paycheck. If I demand it and quit now, I got to go get a job. And look at this one guy. He's been there 2 years. So if you've been there a year or two, you're already trusting them because they've been taking care of you.
Right.
But you didn't know that there was a snake in the grass the whole time. And so next thing you know, 2-3 weeks go by, and what happens?
You still don't have your money, and now you don't have a job.
The promise literally of a paycheck is gone.
Mm-hmm.
So now what? Boom, you're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
So I that's why I started out saying sign number 1 to watch for. Drivers, listen to these signs. Sign number 1: if your paycheck is a day late. I don't care how much you like your boss. If your check is a day late, you know what that means, Ruthann? First off, a trucking company shouldn't ever, if they can't make payroll, there should be a problem with making payroll. Do you understand what I mean by that? They should already have backup money in case their workers need to make payroll. Mm. A trucking company should not be counting on shippers to pay them and brokers to pay them to be able to pay their workers. You're already what they call flying by the seat of your pants kind of a company. Mm-hmm. If you're relying on someone to pay you to be able to pay them.
Right.
That is it. Trucking is not a commission. That sounds like a commission job. Okay. A commission job is set up that way. This is paid by the mile or paid by the percent.
Right.
And the bottom line is a driver puts in his work, pay the laborer.
Right.
Seriously.
Well, and here's the thing with most of the companies, when you do a bill of lading, most of these companies, when you deliver your freight, they have it. That bill of lading is to be paid within a 2-week period. Like it's supposed to be paid quick. Some of them, it's already paid for because they prepay it. So it depends on what kind of company you're working for, like where you're delivering. Some of the freight, they have different arrangements of it. Net 13 days or not 13, but 15 days. So some of them have it all different ways. It's very rare it's a cash on delivery anymore. They don't do that. But you have too many incidences where you can do direct deposits into accounts. When that bill of lading gets in there, as soon as you turn in all of your bill, your bill of ladings into your company that week, that company's already getting the money. You're not waiting. You shouldn't be waiting. That company shouldn't be waiting. But even if they are waiting, the purpose of having a good accounting system you already have a lot of money, not a lot as far as like a whole bunch, but a lot meaning a specific amount of finances that are already made for payroll.
Yeah, or even a floor plan from a bank to where they already have a thing going on with the bank where it just gets paid. What's that term called that they do?
The ACH or direct deposit?
No, not the way they pay it, but there's a thing called a floor plan, but to where they have like a paying company, not a fracking company, but I forget the name of it. I can't even think right now, but the bottom line is their payroll's always met. I mean, I would not want to work for a trucking company that is relying on brokers and all to pay them so they can pay you. I had a driver tell me not long ago, said his paycheck was late, and you know what the small, there was just a small one truck company. He said that hey, my family comes first. He told the driver that, my kids are going to eat before you get paid. this is what the trucking company told the driver. Well, to me,
I did all the work.
Yeah.
My kids should get to be fed as much as your kids should get to be fed.
Listen, the bottom line is legally, the driver should be paid. Mm-hmm. And so here's my advice.
Labor
drivers.
law, they get paid first.
I'm just going to say this. If a trucking company is a day late, if it was me, you already know what I would do. Mm-hmm. I would stop. I'm just telling you what I would do. I would stop and I would say, hold on. I've seen this BS way too much, brother. I need to be paid now. Mm-hmm. I need to be paid now or your load's not getting delivered. And I would rather take the 1 week loss than turn it into 2, 3, 4 weeks because I'm going to be hanging on to your pay. I'm not going to do that. I need to be paid now. 24 hours. And then you know what I would do? After he paid you, I'd go look for another job because it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again until one day you get screwed because that company already is demonstrating that they have zero management skills or something's shady going on in that company. But bottom line with it, okay. And here's the other thing. I feel bad for some of these companies that just came through the times, the BS times, and some of them are hanging on. I feel bad for those companies too. But again, if your pay is late, let's not go on how I feel. Okay, first off, if I'm a driver, okay, I have a family to take care of. It's business. You know what their answer? You know what a trucking company says to everybody when they're negotiating or they screw you over?
Just business.
It's just business, baby. That's all they say. So a driver needs to look at the company and say, it's just business, baby. I need to be paid now, and then go get another job. What were you going to say?
I got a question, and this is something that's going to have to come from an answer that will have to come from someone that is more legal represented. That really didn't sound good. But listen.
You don't want to talk to Attorney Troy?
No, because Attorney Troy's not going to know my answer legally. I mean, he's going to give me his opinion also.
Yeah, but
here's what I have.
I'll make one up.
Here's my question.
Go ahead.
All right, you're under a load, right? You're driving down to wherever, and you have a full trailer or even a half trailer or just a few skids. You have freight on the back of that trailer, right?
Yeah.
You just got notified that the company's closing down. Mm. That freight that's on the back of the trailer, whose is it then?
Oh, no, it's still.
Can you open the door and sell it to get your paycheck?
No, I know you're joking about that. That you have to be joking. Seriously.
I was just joking.
Yeah, that would be theft. No, that freight is still whoever bought it. That's being shipped to the buyer. Okay, that's who purchased that freight. Okay, to sell to, probably purchased it, like, for example, Publix or Walmart or whoever's getting that freight. That's their freight. And no, you cannot open up the truck. That's funny. But anyways, the bottom line is what you can't do anything with that. In fact, you could get in trouble. That's another piece of advice, driver.
That's why I brought it up.
Don't do something stupid. Keep your cool. Like I said, 1 day late, demand your pay. And then when they pay it, get yourself another job. Don't wait around because, driver, it's coming. I promise you. That's a sign. Here, let me give you a couple more signs. If they change anything to do with your pay, like if they go from direct deposit to paper checks.
Big sign.
That's a big sign, guys. Mm-hmm. If all of a sudden they change the way they're paying you, question it, man. Be ready. Okay. If they change the terms from, okay, we're going to start paying you every 2 weeks instead of every week. Dude, that is major red flags, drivers. Mm-hmm. Don't let these flags go unnoticed. Okay. If they take away your bonuses, all right, all of a sudden you're losing your safety bonuses or your, performance bonuses because they can't pay the bonuses. They're not going to tell you, oh yeah, we're low on cash, so we can't pay you. They're just saying, yeah, this is the way we're going right now. We changed it. This is the way it is. If you don't like it, you can leave. Blah 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 blah. Let me tell you something. That's a sign. Screw that company. I don't care. I'm about. You know us, Rutan. We're all about the people that are good, not the bad ones. Good drivers.
Any of the benefits.
Good drivers, not bad drivers. Good companies, not bad companies. I'm an advocate for the good driver. I'm also an advocate for the good trucking company. Okay? And any trucking company. And listen, here's the other thing, Rutan. Trucking companies fall into hard times in bad economies. I get that. But you don't tell the freaking drivers, hey, we got your paycheck and you'll get it on Tuesday. Like you said, we'll pay you can I have my burger today and I'll give it to you Tuesday. They promised that these drivers were getting paid on Tuesday, and then they weren't there anymore. They left. Cricket. They just took off. That's not a good company. I'm telling you right now.
Any of your benefits getting changed, your vacation pays, any of that stuff. If they want to start changing any of that, even your health insurance, if they say now you're responsible for any of that benefit, no, we don't pay sick time anymore. There's a reason. Drivers,
I mean this sincerely. It's like lie detecting. Just look for change in routine. Look for change in wordings. Look for change in evasive answers. Look for change, when you see your pay changing, your pay going down, your bonuses being taken away, all that stuff, drivers. Look for anything that's changing right now. And the second they're late, I'm telling you right now, that's the big sign that, if I what I would say, and because we're going to move on here in a second, what I would say, truthfully, at that moment, if it was me, I would be like, okay, in the movie Heat with Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Brad Pitt. Y'all remember the movie Heat? Remember what Robert De Niro said to Brad Pitt when they were talking about, Brad Pitt was talking about falling in love with his wife. They were thieves. Remember, they would break into places and they were thieves. And their motto was never be attached to anything that you can't get up in 30 seconds or less and walk away, or maybe 5 minutes or less and walk away and just disappear. Okay? Don't get attached to these jobs is what I'm saying. Use the same theory. Get it in your head that if all of a sudden my pay is late, I'm standing up and I'm ready to cut ties that day, and I may suffer one paycheck, but I'm not going to suffer 2, 3, 4 paychecks hanging in there. And then you're between jobs for a week or two without a paycheck. So it ends up turning into a month to 2 months of you getting screwed, and then you're not making your car payment or your mortgage payment or whatever, and your family's getting hungry. Okay? Drivers, watch for the signs. Any changes that are negative changes towards you and your family and the rest of the drivers, watch for that. I promise you. And there's some trucking companies right now, I guarantee you, we've got a rather large audience, and I guarantee you we've got some trucking companies that may be in trouble, and I'm going to give you advice. Don't screw your drivers. Be honest with them. If you got financial problems, give these guys the chance, okay, to make a fair determination if they want to hang in there with you or if they want to go somewhere else. But don't screw the drivers, okay, because it sounds like they might not have been a bad company at Ruth Ann at one time, because it said this guy was there 2 years. You don't stay at a company for 2 years unless it's decent.
I don't think you could build a fleet to be 450 large if
well, I mean, you could base it on maybe they were making a lot of money, blah, 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 and it grew really fast. I don't know. To be honest with you, I never even heard of them in myself. I think I heard of Flagship. I shouldn't say I haven't. But the bottom line with it is, they probably were decent, but you found out what they were made of in the end. Mm-hmm. We're going to pay you, right? And let's get out of here. Hey, Dad, let's get on the plane and let's get out of here. Whatever they did, okay, it was dirty. Mm-hmm. All right, it was dirty. And I hope that they get arrested for doing what they did. Mm-hmm. All right. I mean, to be honest with you, you'd be way better off facing the music. And it makes me ask the question, what was really going on there if they're nowhere to be found?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Really, what was going on that you had to take off instead of being honest and saying, here's what's happening? Instead, they didn't.
You wonder if they're embezzling it from the company or not.
Of course. So how many people are going to wonder, were they embezzling? Were they stealing? Were they, whatever the case is, and I'm not accusing, I'm just saying you make people wonder when you do it dirty that way.
Things that make you go,
Things that make you go, You ready to move on?
Moving on.
Let's take a short break. Truck Parking Club is a network of instantly reservable daily and monthly truck parking locations throughout the U.S. Truck Parking Club helps connect truckers to truck parking locations throughout the U.S. via truckparkingclub.com. Our networks is made up of property owners that have locations adequate for truck parking to list on the platform. This includes trucking companies, storage companies, CDL schools, trailer leasing companies, real estate investors, truck parking operators, and more. Go to truckparkingclub.com today. Hey drivers, are you sick of watching the other drivers bypass the weigh station while you are held up going through yourself? Well, download DriveWise today at www.drivewise.com. That's DRIVEWYZE.com, and start bypassing the scales yourself. If you're a small carrier, an owner-operator, or even a big fleet looking for something better, check out DriveWise today. And remember, there's no equipment, no transponders needed when you're using DriveWise. Check them out for a free download at www.drivewYZE.com. Back. We are back. Ruthann, tell me about the truck show. We are going to be in Louisville. This is the last episode they're going to hear before we are in Louisville. We're going to be at the Louisville Truck Show this year. Mm-hmm. It's going to be huge. It's sold out, Ruthann. And
sold out, but we have some VIP tickets that we can give some people.
Yes, if you want a VIP ticket, get a hold of TalkCDL, and we can give you a couple VIP tickets, free tickets to get in, and it comes with some
cool little benefits. Yeah,
it comes with some benefits. We can give some out. If you're interested, get a hold of us at
Send us an email, Ruthann at TalkCDL, or Troy at TalkCDL.
And that's RUTHANN
right
at TalkCDL.
Right. I don't put an E at the end.
And drivers, if you really want to get those VIP tickets, you're better off sending it to Ruthann, because first off, I'm not the most organized guy.
He's not organized. He's got emails in his folder that have not been opened. He's not gonna get, or you could message us on Facebook, but that can get a little. Yeah, sometimes that gets a little. So shoot me an email, Ruthann at TalkCDL.com. Send me your name. Tell me you want some VIP tickets. I will hook you up. And it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at Louisville.
I don't think they can go Thursday. It's vendor day, ain't it?
You actually get a breakfast.
Yeah, Bosch breakfast.
You get breakfast with some people that you can learn a little bit about the industry, but you still get some little benefits there for Thursday. But come, let me know, and you could come and see us at booth number 60141, right there in the West Wing.
Did you say 60141?
60141.
Okay. We're right across from the Kentucky
State Police. We're right across from them in the West Wing, last aisle, straight up from the food court. And we're going to have a couple hats that we're going to try and give out to people too. So
looking forward to it.
I only have a few that I can give out, so you want to make sure you catch me.
There you go. And Ruthann's going to have to behave since we're right by the cops. The cops. That reminds me when those telemarketers call you. Yeah. The guy from the IRS. Hello? I am from the IRS.
Yeah.
And we're sending the cops to you. If you don't pay us. I'm not kidding you. That was the phone call.
We did get a couple phone calls. It's so funny when they do that because it's lingo that you don't use.
I know.
You know.
We're sending the cops. All right, moving on. Drivers, if you're looking for a local, home, everyday driving job, apply with Carter Lumber today. They have positions for Class A and Class B local drivers. They can take experienced drivers, students, and non-CDL drivers. With over 160 locations, chances are they have a position for you. So go to carterlumber.com/TalkCDL and apply today. Again, that's carterlumber.com/TalkCDL. Thank you. If you're a driver looking for a new trucking job, check out NCI. NCI offers the following: new Kenworth T680s, competitive wages, solo, team, and students welcome, plus a full benefit package for you and your family. Check them out today at 888-311-7076. That's 888-7076. And tell them
So, Troy,
TalkCDL sent you.
what was the other thing that you were telling us about that was going on? You said first there's a storm, then there was a company.
Oh, honestly, there was a trucker. I'm going to read this story. It's kind of weird. I just wanted to bring it up.
I'm a He-Man trucker.
Now, well, first off, I know, to me, I'm going to be honest. You know me. I think there's more within the more to the story. Mm-hmm. And I don't think they caught the guy that shot. But it says, trucker says he feels blessed to survive after 13 shots fired at his semi by random guy in Kansas.
Okay, so there were shot at his semi. He wasn't hit with them?
Well, listen to this story. I'm going to read. This is kind of a crazy one. Now, here's the weird part.
Really not crazy?
Well, here's the weird interaction.
Okay.
This is what I think is kind of a little weird, but who knows? Maybe everybody's going, it don't sound weird. It says, a truck driver is warning fellow drivers to be aware of your surroundings at all times.
Duh.
Following a terrifying encounter with a man who attacked him with both metal rod and a gun. It says, Mississippi-based truck driver Joseph Earl Walker says that the incident occurred in Oakley, Kansas on March 3rd, 2023. It says, in a written statement, now CDL Life got this one, okay? It says, here's what was written. This comes from, what did I say his name was?
Walker.
Walker. Was it Walker? Walker. Joe Walker. Okay. So it says, I had just gotten up from my couple hours of nap and was going to continue my shift of driving I had left. So as I'm leaving, a guy in a green pickup was blocking my exit and said, "Human, you shall not pass." How weird is that? Mm-hmm. Okay. So you got that same look on your face that I had in mine when I first heard it. Mm-hmm. Sounds like there's more to the story. Mm-hmm. But I could be wrong, though. It says, so Joe writes, so my instinct kicked in to just back the truck up and try going in another direction, but he came charging at me with a metal rod of some sort, smashing mirrors and windows on the truck. I called 911, told them to send help. And so I put the truck in drive just to try to scare him away from the truck and me, but he threw himself on the truck as if suicidal, so I stopped. After which he started shooting. The first shot that came through, I was certain it hit me, but it didn't, only grazed my face from the glass. But once he stopped shooting, I put the truck into drive and just hoped to just get away from him. I kept driving till police arrived behind me. So, and there's more to the story. Go over to CDL Life and check it out. But, the guy goes to the hospital, gets checked out. I mean, there's this picture of the truck. It's got bullet holes all over the place. I don't know, man. He said, he found a bullet casing in his dreadlocks. That's what it says. It literally says that. So when they were checking him out, they found a bullet casing in his dreadlocks.
Wow.
So I'm thinking to myself, okay, how does it sound to you like there's got to be more to this story?
Well, it sounds
Human, you shall not pass.
Sounds like
who goes there?
The shooter needs to be in a special hospital for people.
Yeah, the shooter does, but what about the guy?
How can he hear him holler "human"? That's only you're in a tractor with the windows up. Even,
Well, how do you know the windows were up?
Because when he said he shut out the windows, he got hit by glass. I mean, was that the front window?
Well, and I agree.
I mean, it kind of sounds like he's got his windows up. And that's what I was, if I'm wrong, if his side windows are down, still, you're sitting in the truck. You have to be screaming pretty loudly to hear someone say anything.
Human.
Yeah.
Who goes there?
It does sound a little odd. I'm just saying that it would, I would say, because if you're trying to get out of somewhere and someone's blocking your path, I like I said, it just trying to put it together a little bit. The guy was in a ramp because he took a nappy nap. So if you take a nappy nap, you're in a pretty secure area, maybe a rest stop or somewhere to take your nappy nap.
And I'm not saying that there ain't wackos that would actually do what he's saying happen.
No, of course there's those wackos.
We know that there are nutcases out there looking for reason. Seriously, I mean, I agree. You definitely want to be aware of your surroundings. I'm just saying that this story doesn't sound like 2 + 2 is 4. It sounds more like algebra to me. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, guys. Write it. You know what? I'd love it if everybody would write in and give me. We always get people writing in. You know, give me your take on that. I want to know what everybody thinks about that.
Title it "Human Don't Pass."
Yeah. Send us an email or a message on Facebook. Human
Subject
don't.
line,
Yeah.
Humans.
You shall not pass, or something like
Hello,
that.
humans.
Yeah. It's just a weird story to me, and you know. But anyways, that I thought it was worthy of making the podcast this week. How about we move on?
Moving on
To
my word of the day.
No, I got one last thing I want to talk about.
Oh, okay.
A trucking company owner is headed to the slammer.
Oh, the big house people.
Well, you know, I actually worked for a company this happened to. They weren't paying the taxes. It says Nebraska trucking company owners are getting sentenced for failing to pay the IRS over $400,000 in tax withheld from employee paychecks.
Ooh.
So they were withholding the checks, or they were withholding the money and supposedly sending it in. And this is what I worked for a guy that this happened to. Mm-hmm. He never missed my paycheck ever, or any of the employees that I knew. Mm-hmm. But he also had the IRS surround all of his trucks, or like 19 trucks. And they confiscated him because he wasn't paying his taxes. I don't know if he went to jail or what. But here's what it says. It says the owners of Roca, Nebraska-based B&B Midwest Trucking have been sentenced for using funds withheld from employee paycheck. Let me tell you something. To me, it sounds just like greed. If these guys were making money the last couple of years. Everybody was making millions in trucking. Seriously, they were making quite a bit of money, even small companies. If you didn't save your money and invest it right, and you went and blew your money, and now you're in hard times and you can't survive, it goes back to what we were talking about before. You're one of those companies that drivers shouldn't be working for. It's just the truth, Ruth Ann. It is what it is. It says they were using it to pay creditors and personal expenses. So taking the tax money, and I mean, God, that's got to be scary, just going down that rabbit hole. Mm-hmm. Saying to yourself, okay, I'm spending this tax money that I shouldn't be spending. I hope they don't catch me. Mm-hmm. Well, when you over $400,000, they notice that.
Yeah.
It's just the truth. It says on March 21st, husband and wife, William H. White, 55, and Sarah A. White, 40. 15-year difference. Mm-hmm. Got himself a youngin'. Ow. Robbing the cradle. I'm just kidding. Anyways, it says they were sentenced for failure to pay over employment tax that had there's companies right now going, oh my gosh, look at those guys, man. We're going to be in trouble. We better pay these taxes. And you're right. If you're at that moment, you better pay your taxes. It says William White was sentenced to 1 year and a day in prison, to be followed by 3 years of supervised release. Sarah White, his wife, was sentenced to 3 years of probation and a fine of $10,000. Both of the Whites were ordered to pay $426,000 in restitution. I guess I'm a little pissed off. If that was you and I'd say to the judge, what about her? Did you just, going to jail and she's not?
They might have children that she has to take care of.
I'd be like, lock her. Well, I would stay home and watch the kids. You go to the big house.
Well, honestly, you like to say you're head of the household.
That's right. I'd rather stay home.
Well, here's the thing. He probably has a higher position in the company and has more stake at it.
I know, my soulmate. I don't even want to hear about it, but I can't. I can't even picture me in prison.
I can't either. You be getting the baton all the time.
You've got a purty mouth, boy.
Ew.
Squeak like a pig. No, seriously, I literally would not in any way be happy. Well, I mean, I guess I would. When I do a year for you, a year and a day for you.
Well, here's what I would have to say. You would actually be really angry, first of all. But more than likely, that's just something that doesn't happen without someone else telling the other person, So they had to know it was going on. Then what I would have to say is that when it comes to owing that much money, that means you made a lot of money to be able to pay your employees that, have that much in taxes. There's not one bit of an excuse that could be used. Why?
I don't feel sorry for them.
That's greed completely.
Absolutely, man. When you get to the point, because there was a point where they contacted them and they probably had a chance to make restitution.
Oh yeah, definitely. They send you a letter first saying, "Hey, we didn't receive your payment. What's going on?"
Exactly. So they had a chance to. Somewhere along the line, they pissed that money away. Mm-hmm. Oh boy. So, anyways, we will see what happens with them. And again, if you're a trucking company out there that is hard pressed behind, if I was you, before it's too late, just my advice, I think I'd get a hold of the IRS now and say, hey, I'm in a little trouble here, before they contact you. Once the shitstorm comes, guess what? It's going to cover you.
And don't mess with the drivers. Don't mess with your employees, period.
Yeah.
Don't screw your employees over their paychecks.
Just a recap on that for real. Come on, he's a worker. Don't screw the worker over. Ruth Ann, you got the word of the day?
I do.
What do you got? Let me turn this up.
Alluvium. Alluvium.
Alluvium.
Alluvium. Sounds pretty cool, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. What does alluvium mean? Is it something exotic?
No.
All right.
Alluvium means a deposit of clay, silt, sand, and gravel left by flowing streams in a river valley or delta, typically producing fertile soil.
I think the only time that I'll ever use that word is if I'm hiking with family members and I come to a creek and I could say, check out the alluvium.
See, but there will be a time where it could be used.
Yeah, I hear that. Ruth Ann, that is the podcast for the week. We're out of here.
Peace.
Peace. Praise the Lord.